James Kennedy, RubberStamp.io. Welcome to IrishStartUpTV.
Thanks very much for having us, Richard.
We're in very upright chairs today. There's no danger we're going to fall asleep.
We're upright and bushy-tailed.
So tell us, we met at Silicon Stroll the other day, but you're Irish, but you're based in SA in South Africa.
That's correct, yeah. I've been about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago now, I originally left Ireland to follow the 4-hour work week dream. I don't know if you read that book,
yeah,
4-Hour Work
Stephen
Week.
Ferris.
Yeah, so I hiked off to Argentina and I've been running web businesses ever since, really.
Wow.
Everywhere from Argentina and Chile and everywhere in between, really. And my wife is South African, so for the last couple of years I've been down there where we've been breeding, having a couple of kids.
Very good. And tell us a little bit more about RubberStamp.io. What is the business?
Sure. So it's what traditionally would be called a purchase order management system. So for medium or most companies actually, 1 out of every 10 times they buy something, some mistake is made. So either 2 people in the company buy the same thing and there's kind of a redundant purchase, or the invoice that comes in for an item might be more than was quoted, so you end up overpaying. Or you even have people who just send out, fraudulent invoices to companies, which isn't so bad when you have 10 or 20 employees, but when you get 50 or 100 or 300 employees, the people who purchase stuff aren't the same people who pay for it and the same people who approve it. So, and people try and fix that problem with emails, sending emails around, did you order this? Did you approve this? Who should we pay?
Talk us through that workflow. Typically, I suppose, what is a PO? And typically, how is it raised and managed?
Yeah, so typically, let's say I need to make a marketing spend for a company. Let's say I'm a marketing manager for UNICEF, one of our first customers. And they would be responsible for, say, running an event. So they go to the Marker Hotel down the road here and they need to buy a banner, So they, what used to happen is they'd email whoever owned the marketing budget saying, hey, can I buy this banner? It's 300 quid. And then they may or may not get a reply. They would buy it. And then 30 or 60 days later, an invoice would go into the finance department in UNICEF. And it was basically chaos because no one really knew who was ordering on what, and it was very slow and clunky to get sort of approvals.
Was there no link up between the outbound request for the product and the inbound request for the payment?
Yeah, what they were trying to do was use Excel and sort of, accountancy packages like QuickBooks will give you that sort of functionality, but it's all in accountancy packages. So you still had to phone the finance department, ask them for approval. They give you a number, you're supposed to quote that number. It was really awkward. So, and as a result, it was hard to spend money for your company, but it was still pretty easy to make spending mistakes because you could still mess it up in some way. And it also meant it was very slow for suppliers to get paid because the finance department wasn't sure what's going on. So what we built was basically what if your viewers would be familiar with Basecamp, so it was like Basecamp for spending. Okay. So design projects used to be run on email and phone calls, and Basecamp came along and it made it all organized.
In case anybody isn't familiar with Basecamp.
Yeah, so Basecamp is an online project management tool like teamwork.com that allows you to see all of the process in a project at any one stage. And with our software you can log in and see how your company is spending money. Okay. Is it on budget? Is it over budget? Who's authorizing what? Gives you a history of everything, stores all the documentation relating to purchases. Okay.
So your company, RubberStamp.io, gives a snapshot to an owner or manager or any other decision maker to instantly understand all the requests that have gone out for product and all the requests that have come in for payment, all in one suite.
Yeah, and stops dead the waste.
Okay, brilliant.
So it cuts out about 10% of spend in a company. Wow. It's just totally wasted.
Wow, and is that an average number?
Yeah, it's an average across industry, but we'll see it like in the last 90 days, like we've had $250,000 worth of purchases which have been rejected because there was some sort of error for it. Normally those purchases, they just would have gone through, and
from an efficiency standpoint as well, that if I want to check in with what's happening with my cash flow, that this RubberStamp.io is going to solve this problem as well.
Well, cash flow is the key. There's some very interesting things we can do once you have that information. So once you have a central repository, you know where all your data is being spent, you can do some interesting things. You can manage cash flow. So even if you're using an accountancy package right now, it can be very hard to know okay, well that's how much money's in the bank, but how much of that is actually owed to Richard and James and so on? It can be hard to manage your project, especially for project-related, you know, industries where they're running on a specific budget. And what you can do with our software is you can log in and say, okay, well, that's how much is in the bank, but this is how much is still coming down the line for this project or for this budget, you know? And it gives you, for the first time, a real-time view of where your finances are. So,
fantastic. And where are you at the moment with the business? How many years are you established?
So we started selling September 2014, so we're just 1 year out of the box.
You're very much a startup in
we are a new business, that's right, yeah. So far we have just over 50 customers. And my favorite vanity metric is that we are managing about $50 million a month in expenses for our customers. So by our reckoning, we're saving about $5 million a month in money that would have been totally wasted for all of our customers.
So what's your revenue model then? Is it a percentage of that change, or is it a fixed cost?
That is a nice idea. I would like a percentage of that, but we're a straight SaaS based model. So we started off with $49.99 and $149. Pretty quickly we doubled that. Right now we're at $99, you know, $149 and $499.
So $99, $149 and $499 per month, depending on the size of your business requirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super. How is it setting up a business in South Africa?
Yeah, well, South Africa has a number of great advantages.
Really?
The labour market is there's a lot of people looking for great jobs, and you have.
Is there a talent pool?
There's a lot of talent. I mean, South Africa is renowned for its entrepreneurs. We were talking about Wonga before we started here. You obviously have Elon Musk.
It's kind of a hub as well, a melting pot.
Shuttleworth, there's just goes on and on. I mean, they're just very hard-working, bright people.
Is that the indigenous population? Are we seeing local talent? Or are we seeing migrant population? Or are we seeing a kind of combination? It's a very diverse place, SA.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of my people I'm working with are South Africans, and they would come from different places. We're actually living in a very rural part in South Africa.
Oh, really?
So we're like, as I described it, 200 kilometers from nearest coffee machine, which is pretty much accurate. And but
how do you get internet then?
How did I get there?
No, do you have broadband, or how do you manage?
I have great broadband. Really? Yeah, works really well. Up until recently, it was better broadband than my parents had in Malahide.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that says something. So you're in a rural location. Are you in a town, or out on a farm?
It's a sheep farming town. I'm in the town, but it's
so you're in a sheep farming town in SA, and you had better broadband than your parents had in Malahide.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's frightening.
yeah.
Very positive if you're living on a sheep farm or a sheeping town in SA, but maybe.
Yeah. The downside is absolutely no one in that town knows what I do.
Okay.
But on the upside, I've become a lot more adept at talking about farming. Which has been interesting.
Fantastic.
Can't go wrong with a merino sheep.
Okay.
That's your best opener if you go to a farm.
Well, everyone knows merino wool, don't they?
Yeah.
So back to business. Okay, so SA is very good because it's got a really good pool of talent, and also it's got really good broadband by the sounds of things.
It has sufficient broadband, yeah.
Okay.
And great talent, yeah.
And would you ever consider coming back to Ireland, or where would be your next office?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're looking at setting up a development team in Ireland, and that will be our sort of objective for the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay. So talk to us maybe a little bit about the roadmap. So you're doing some nice business by the sounds of things. What's next on the plan?
Well, to date we've been growing through sales, so we use just bootstrap business. And the next step is to look for some funding to try and accelerate that. So effectively, we just got to product market fit. We've sold some customers, delivering lots of values. People are recurring. We have extremely low churn. So now we have to go back and look at the product itself. So there's a lot of things we would like to do with the product that we didn't do the first time around, and that comes down to an engineering effort, and that's going to take a lot more money. So
who do you think you're going to hire then? If an investor was watching and they said, we're going to give you X amount of money, what are you going to do with it? Sure.
So I have, my background in Ireland, so I know. I'm a technical background, so a lot of technical friends, and so I have sort of connections here in order to be able to set up a development shop. So you have an idea of who you'd like to hire? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, super. Yeah. So and now they're bright, smart, intelligent people. So you have to try and convince them. So that's partly why I'm back in Ireland, is to try and do that. Really? Okay. So what? So you're here from now until Christmas? Yeah. So you're looking at drumming up a bit of interest. I'll be in Europe. Yeah. So I'll be around. I mean, I'll be in Spain and in London and here. Yeah.
Would you think of building out offices there as well, or?
Well, I can't end up with offices everywhere, you know. So,
true. So right now, what are you kind of thinking? It could be Dublin, it could be London, it could be Spain.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I would like to build an office here because I perceive that there's honestly there's better to be sort of to be kind of, you know, talking very general terms. I feel like there's a better pool of talent here technically that I can draw on. So I would like to do that, and for personal reasons as well. You know, to be able to set up a team here would be awesome. I think Ireland has there's some real good success stories which have been inspirational for us all, and you know, I would like to be, you know, one of those success stories as well.
Sounds like you're already well on the way to being an Irish success story.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, super.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's brilliant. So look, James, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and look forward to seeing what the next 6 months has in store. Hopefully it's a Dublin office and we can come and visit you. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Richard.